American, and Mariah is an African American. Gabrielle Union is an African American, and uh, I don't know how to say it without without
Just say,
sounding.
break it
I don't
down, Nene.
I
If
don't know
you
how to say it without sounding like I am uh, bashing, and I don't want to sound like I'm bashing. Okay, I I want to say this, Ben. I never thought I would be in this situation in my life. And it's hard. I never thought I would be in this situation in my life and be sitting here saying it's hard to put yourself out here. And I'm not the only person in this situation. There are many people in this situation. They are afraid. And it's hard to sit here and fight for other people who are afraid to sit here and tell their stories. Um,
so, so Nene, I want to try to be clear. Were you one of the only original African American housewives? And compared to your colleagues, uh, do you feel like you've been demoted to some degree? And can you explain that?
yes, I was the only original housewife left on the show for a number of years. For a few years, it was me and a white housewife, okay, left on the show for a few years. And she left the show, and she was spent off into her own show and her own series. And so I was the only original housewife left here. And of course, I, for a number of years, I was being demoted while the original housewives from a number of different cities were being promoted. I was being demoted. And it's very hard for viewers when they're watching these shows. They don't view it, they don't see it. They don't.
So, Nene, for a lay person like me who doesn't get to watch every episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta, it was you and a white woman who were original housewives. And you're telling us that they got promoted as sorts to get their own show while you're being demoted. Explain how you're being demoted, and are you surprised you don't have your own show with your popularity at Real Housewives and Bravo?
Well, it's not so much about me having my own show. It's about having, when you work at any company, you want elevation. It's about leveling up. Whether I was an actress or an executive, everybody want to level up in their opportunities on their jobs, right? Um, he was being, as an original housewife, a lot of these girls were being elevated. I was being demoted. And the way I was being demoted is I was giving less and less episodes, and these girls were giving more and more episodes. I was giving less. Original housewives across the board on different states, Beverly Hills, New Jersey, other places, they were getting full seasons, and I was giving less episodes every season.
Yeah. Do you think that this issue with Mariah on Merit to Medicine is in many ways similar to yours in the fact that, as I understand, she created the show and then they forced her out her own show and didn't recognize her for being the creator of that show? I mean, it's you talking about disrespect as a black woman, but that's your intellectual property.
Yes, I mean, she is the creator of that show. And for so many people watching the show, I mean, I remember watching so many people say things like she gave away her rights and she never gave away her rights. And but that is the way it had been positioned over the years. And so many people watching, you could ask anybody, know, and you even could hear some of her castmates saying she gave away her rights, she signed away her rights, and they don't even know what they're talking about. She never gave up her rights. She is the creator and the owner of the show. She was never given credit for it or paid for it, or it was taken from her. And
So when this sister tried to say, this is my intellectual property, you just can't take it away from me, you all are saying she was penalized
yes,
for just wanting what was due to her.
right.
And do you think this is somewhat of a culture in your perspective, or is it something that there needs to be diversity, inclusion, and implicit bias training at Bravo and at NBC?
Of course.
You know, Nene, I know that this is very personal to you because you have been with the network for so long, and so a lot of people were surprised when you put it out there. Is this something to get the attention of Bravo and say that, you know, the African American audience is important and you need to respect your African American talent?
Of course, you need to respect your African American talent. I mean, we're human. We have feelings. I mean, and we want to be elevated and we want to be treated fairly, of course. Um, it's difficult. I mean, you want support from the viewers, you want support from your fans. It's hard to speak out. You want support from your culture, and it's hard. It's just hard. Um, one of the most difficult things. It really is. It's just difficult, Ben. It's difficult. It's very hard. Um, I want to be able to say more. Before I got on this live with you,
Uh-huh.
I received so many text messages from so many people with so many opinions. I was so confused before I got on here because so many people are afraid. They don't want you to say anything. You get tons of opinions saying, "Don't do it. Go ahead. Forget about it. Go away. Don't say anything. Just do something else, or just wait. Something else will come." You know, you work so hard, and you open up doors for other people, and it's unfair treatment. It's not right.
So you're saying you refuse to be a well-behaved victim?
I refuse. I refuse. I refuse. I don't want to be. I don't want to be.
You know, and
Why should
then
I be? Why should I be? Why should I have to be? Why? Why? Why?
exactly. For other reality personalities and stars out there who feel like they've been discriminated against or treated uh, in a way that it marginalizes them, what advice do you have for them?
Oh my God. The advice, the advice, the advice. The advice is hard. The advice is hard. You have to stand in your truth. That's all I'm doing here, Ben. I'm trying to stand in my truth, which is very difficult. I asked you to help me. Yes. I went
Yeah.
to Brian Freeman for help. Yes. Al Sharpton for help. Yes. So many people. It was very difficult for me to come to you guys for help. Just being on here, I thought I was going to be the strongest black woman in the world. And then I got on here and started looking at you and started crumbling. And I'm starting to be the scaredest black woman in the world. I'm scared. You know, I got all these calls and all these comments on here, and I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. All I know is you can stand in your truth and go with your gut. Go with your gut. Ben, I think you went to I lost you. I don't hear you. Is it me? I don't think it's me. I think it's Ben. I think it's Ben. Do you guys hear me? If uh do you hear me? Raise your thumb. If you don't hear Ben, put your thumbs down. How about that? They say it's Ben. I think somebody said hang up and come. They say Ben, you can if you hang up and come back. That's what somebody just said. We hear Nene. Okay, okay, he left. He left. Okay, they hear me. Okay, wait. I think he's gonna come back. Let me see if I see. Hang up and bring him back. Okay, so hang up and bring him back. So Ben disconnect. I'm not gonna disconnect. Ben disconnect. Ben, if you come back in, if you hear me, you come back and say hi, and I'll bring you back. I'll wait for him. Tell me if you see him. You guys know I don't see good. Hmm. Let me see. Oh, I see him. Wait, there you go. Go live with Ben. Let me see. Ben, Ben, I hear you.
Okay, you hear me? Okay. While we have before we have any more technicalities, let's get to the crux of the matter, Nene.
Okay, so I had
I
something that I was trying to say, and you buzzed out.
okay.
I want to say that I was saying that a lot of people don't know, or they do know, and sometimes they forget because it's been a lot of years. Uh, I started a genre. I was saying I opened a door. I held the door open. When I first started, there was no. I think people forget there was no love and hip hop. There was no basketball wives. There was no Hollywood exes. There was none of those black ensemble, those no Braxtons, no black ensemble reality shows that you see. And I think sometimes people think they just kind of like popped out of the air. They just showed up. There were none of those shows. When you see all of these memes of me, they're everywhere. There's no meme machine out there like you see of Nene Leaks. I don't get one penny off of those memes. Those memes are everywhere. They're on iOS. They're on your just any in everywhere. Uh, these shows that I'm on, they're on Delta Airlines. They're streaming everywhere. You can see them any and everywhere. I don't get a dime from them shows streaming. They're on Delta. When you guys get on these airlines, United, you see them everywhere. I don't get a dime from that stuff. Um, those are deals that we signed, and just those are just deals that we didn't know that we were just uneducatedly signing. Um,
And and Nene, that's deep. Why don't you tell us about how it all started? I mean, this is your opportunity to talk to your fans, to talk to America. How did the Real Housewives of Atlanta start, and how have you been rewarded for what you helped do?
a lot of people, a lot of the fans who are true fans, they kind of know how it started because we talked about it, but I'll tell you. So there was this
Right.
woman. Um, some of them know her name, and that Princess Batten. There was this young lady that came to me and said, "Hey, I know this lady is trying to start. She was getting it wrong. The Real Housewives of Orange County. She had it wrong." And she said they're out here in Atlanta looking for some ladies who live behind the gate. I said, "Girl, you have to tell her about me. I live behind the gate." And she said, "I'm going to give her your name." And I said, "Okay." So she gave this my name to this lady named Princess Batten. So Princess Batten came to my house. She kept calling me up, and I kept blowing her off, and I kept blowing her off. And finally, she said, "Girl, are you going to take the interview or not?" And I said, "Okay." So She was coming to my house one day, I don't know, like at 1 p.m. And I started cleaning my house the whole day, like cleaning up. And I hadn't eaten breakfast. And if you know me, I'm not a breakfast eater, right? So I was drinking a whole bottle of wine while cleaning my house, but hadn't eaten breakfast. So when she rang my doorbell, I opened up the door and I said, "Hey, girl," a whole bottle of wine, right? So I had a with this lady interviewing, having so much fun. So when the interview was over, she leaves my gate and she calls me. She said, "Who are your friends? I had so much fun with you." I say, "My friends are Kim Zolciak, Sheree Whitfield, and Deshaun Snow." And she interviewed all of them, and we became the Real Housewives of Atlanta. She said, "We already have interviewed Lisa Wu Hartwell, and we like her." And boom, here we are. I literally cast the whole show just like that. Myself, Deshaun Snow, Sheree Whitfield, we all, and Kim Zolciak. And at the time, they were not looking for any white girls. And I told them, "You got to see this white girl. She has on a big blonde wig and she smokes cigarettes. Y'all gonna love her." And when they met her, they were like, "Boom, she is it." And just like that, we became the Real Housewives of Atlanta.
And you all were phenomenally successful.
We came out the gate and knocked it right out the park, just like that.
Because I remember being at the Essence Festival one year, and literally everybody was talking about Nene Leakes is going to be here.
Yeah.
Nene Leakes is going to be here. And I was thinking to myself, is Nene going to perform? Is she going to get
Uh-uh. None of that.
the booth? Sisters were going crazy. And so how does Bravo not appreciate the growth that you gave their
Well, I
network
would
with
tell
bringing?
you, well, what happened was after that, the first season, our numbers were great. And so they ended up letting Deshaun Snow go and they replaced her with Candy Burris. And then right after that, um, Anderson Cooper. I would call him the Silver Fox. So he had his show and he would say, "Nene Leakes is the breakout star." And then Ellen DeGeneres was saying, "Nene Leakes is the breakout star." And then all the news was breaking, "Nene Leakes is the breakout star." And then Anderson Cooper ended up having his own talk show at the time. And he would constantly talk about me. He said, "I want Nene Leakes to come over here and co-host my show." And all these celebrities, I didn't know who they were at the time. I was just this old country girl that's having a good time on this show. And all of them were saying, "Nene Leakes is the breakout star." And all these headlines, I'd never been in the magazine before. They always saying Nene Leakes is the breakout star. And so here I am, like the breakout star around here. And then the next year, Ebony Magazine, I grew up watching Ebony Magazine. Ebony Magazine
Uh-huh.
called and was like, "Nene Leakes is the breakout star. We want to put her on the cover of our Power magazine." And I was like, "Well, dang, I'm just a country girl. I'm on the cover of the magazine." And so, it was just like that. All the Ellen DeGeneres, everybody was calling and saying, "We want this girl on our talk show." Jimmy Fallon. It was like I was on a whirlwind. I was just doing all this
And,
stuff.
and obviously people relate to you, Nene.
Yeah.
So just break it down because a lot of people are asking, what do you want to gain from people signing the petition in your
Well,
own
I did not
words?
create that petition. Let's be clear. A fan
Okay.
created the petition. Some fans created it and they sent it, and I just passed it on to the rest of you folks. The fans created it and they asked that you do boycott Bravo. And I'm supporting the fans who are supporting me. And I think you should at this time because I think it's a way for us to be able to take a seat at the table and have a conversation with Bravo. The what I want from Bravo is for them to sit down with me and my representatives and have a conversation. I think over the years, all of the things that I have done for Bravo to help elevate them, I think it is unfair and to demote me and elevate my white counterparts and demote me as a black woman who helped elevate this network and elevate a franchise and elevate other shows. But because before I stepped onto the scene of Real Housewives of Atlanta, I helped elevate the entire franchise. Now, granted, there was a franchise, a housewives show already in place. But when I came on as the breakout star, according to all of the celebrities such as Ellen DeGeneres and Andy's good friend Anderson Cooper, um, I elevated the entire franchise, and I made more money for them than any other talent I think they have on the network. Now, I like to see those numbers. If they have some numbers to say that there was another talent that made more money for them, I'd like to see that.
Well, I think everybody wants to see that, Nene. But I will ask you this here because these fans came to your aid to say, hey, we want Nene. And so they started this petition.
Yes,
You didn't start the
I did
petition.
not.
And it's about you. It's about Mariah,
Yes,
who has been mistreated, many feel, as well as others that haven't found their voice to stand up and
right,
come out and say, we demand to be treated equally. We don't
right.
want to be marginalized because, you know, in 2020, we saw so many things happen with Black women finally starting to get their attention and recognition, whether it's Breonna Taylor in the social justice realm, whether it's Vice President Kamala Harris becoming the first Black woman to be vice president. So
You know
what
what?
is
I
it?
would also say that all the years that I worked on the show and our when I worked on Real Housewives of Atlanta, uh, when we were, our ratings were the highest in the franchise. Uh, um,
All the housewives, all the white housewives of Atlanta was the highest.
Real Housewives of
Is that what?
Atlanta. Real Housewives of
Okay.
Atlanta. And there would be the different award shows or giving awards to different reality shows. And even if the Real Housewives, if we were, I can't remember how many times the show was nominated, uh, the Kardashians always won. Our black ass never won. Never won. We never won. And when I came out as the breakout star, um, and Kim Kardashian, I was the black girl on Kim Kardashian's gang. Um, Kim always made way more money than I have. I mean, her money was way longer than mine.
Well, you bring up a very interesting issue, and I think we should talk about it. We have about 20 more minutes, so let's try to get everything in, Nene. Your fans don't want you to hold back. They want to hear Nene. And Brian Freeman, an incredible attorney who really represents a lot of great Hollywood talent, is arguing, saying that, hold on, this just isn't fair. We need to really make sure that we're talking about pay equity. And so
Hmm.
a big thing that came up in Hollywood was the gender pay equity between men and women, and it was mostly a white woman's issue. But when you really look at it, Black women suffer even greater disparate treatment when it comes to gender pay than white women. And this is very fascinating to me, Nene,
Okay.
because it speaks to who you are. Uh, my associate lawyers gave me an article that said TV writers circulate anonymous spreadsheets to fight gender pay gap. They said that executive producers working on shows who were white men made 25 to 30,000 per episode, while white women made 14 to 16,000 per episode, and they said women of color made 8 to 10,000 per episode. And so you see this great disparity, and they were all at the same studio working on the same shows. And so it speaks a lot to what you're saying about there is this inequity when it comes to how you are dealt with professionally, how you are paid professionally, and so on and so forth. So I want to talk and have you touch on those two issues. Number one, the pay equity, and then number two, the professionalism of how you were treated versus your white counterparts.
How I was treated in what respect? You mean on set?
Uh, Behind the scenes, this is a chance for your fans
No,
can
I was
really
just
get.
meaning what you mean, like how I was treated in what way are you speaking? Because for the last few seasons, it's just been black on this set. But when my white counterpart was on my particular set, there was definitely a difference that I don't think people always see because it's behind the scene. Okay. And if you start speaking about the shows across the board, then there is a great difference because when my white counterpart was on set, I mean, shit. I think all these girls can speak to that. I mean, they just, oh my God. I mean, they come and go when they want to. They curse out people. They do whatever they want to do. I mean, if we cuss out anybody, we're an angry black woman. So we can't cuss out nobody. I mean, if we cuss out somebody, I mean, we are. It's just different. I mean,
And you never
you say
funny to
one cuss word and you are just angry, bitter. You are horrible. They can cuss all day long and they just got up on the wrong side of the bed this morning. So it's just different.
yeah. And you never put hands on anybody or anything like that.
Listen, you
At,
watch these shows across the board. I can give you example after example. You have never seen me in a physical altercation on this show, all the years that I've been on this show. Now, you have watched physical altercation after physical altercation on this show, black and white, okay? Now, I grabbed my cameraman's shirt. It was never anything serious, ever. He never thought it was anything serious. But listen, I'm on a show, so I'm not going to try to change any of that. I should have never touched his shirt or anything. Although he never felt it was anything serious, I never felt anything serious. The show, play it however they want to play it. I should have never touched him. Forget it. They have altercations on this show where people are going to jail. I ain't never went to jail touching nobody doing none of that, okay? They go to jail, they still at work. They go to jail, they grabbing people butt, they still at work. You know, I ain't grabbing nobody ass. I don't even want to touch her ass, okay? That's how it is. And these people still go to work. They taking each other's hairs out their head and they still going to work. So listen, the treatment is different, okay? That's just what it is.
yeah, and I was talking to attorney Brian Freeman, and this is a more sober aspect of the reality shows. He was informing me that in the last 5 years, there have been 56 suicides. And a lot of it is how they try to pit people against one another, and people don't even know what's going on behind the scenes, but they're just trying to build ratings up. And one of the things is you try to say, hey, we don't want to make somebody feel so dejected that they go and feel like they got to take their own life. Can you speak to some of that reality? I was shocked when they said 56 suicides from reality TV personalities.
You know, it's tough. I can tell you that. I have definitely gone to my executives, and this is another thing that the fans who are watching don't know. I've gone to my executives several times and said, I don't want to be the villain. Why are these people ganging up against me? Why? Can you go to them for me and say, listen, I don't want to fight. I don't want to argue. I will apologize to everybody if that's what I need to do. I will make amends with everyone. And they will not do this if you guys go to them and say, Nene doesn't want to do this. I've gone to them and asked for help time and time again. And that's something the viewers don't know. I've gone and say, help me. I won't help. Why? Help me get back in with them. I'm willing to talk to her. I want to talk to her. I want to work it out. Can we work it out behind the scene? Can you help us work it out?
Yeah. And talking with Attorney Freeman, he talked about some of the toughest fights are when you dare raise the even slightest hint of racial discrimination. He successfully represented Gabrielle Union and many other white stars and so forth. But he talked about how challenging that was, how the network seemed to almost be arrogant in their position when they deal with black stars and black personalities.
Why?
Is that what you found, that the network talks down to you at times when you try to articulate a perspective?
They sure ain't been helpful. I have definitely asked for help. I have asked for help multiple times and I have not gotten it. I can tell you that I have gone to everybody. I have sent emails. I have asked time and time again to help me, and I have not been given help. That's what I
Yeah,
can
and
tell you.
I remember Brian Freeman, who is a Hollywood entertainment attorney, and also Reverend Al Sharpton calling me saying that there seems to be a real problem with what they're doing to some of our black women on television. And we might need to look closer at this. And so that's when you started giving me a lot of the statistics and stuff, and I was shocked. And then when Mariah called, I was just blown away that you think you can just take a black woman's intellectual property and not compensate her at all. That makes no sense to me whatsoever.
And retaliate
Yeah,
and retaliate later, retaliate against you. Why?
yeah. And so that's how the struggle is not just in the corporate boardrooms. I will tell you, these last 4 years or so, I have had many corporate executives calling us where we have bought discrimination claims against banks. I mean, it's gotten out of hand, and maybe this is a larger part of society that's happening. And so you staking your claim if so much of what happens on television affects our subconscious minds. I never forget what Malcolm X said that, one of the greatest, most powerful drugs ever created was television. Because, I mean, it has you thinking things in your subconscious mind that you're not even aware that you're thinking. So maybe you need Leaks and Mariah Q and others who come forward, Monique, and state that we demand equal opportunities, just like our other white counterparts. Maybe this is the time now. This is the moment. And so if your fans continue to stand up with you and say, sign the petition to say, bravo, you have to do better by black women. NBC, you have to do better by black women. Television corporations and Hollywood, you have to do better by black women. Maybe if we can show solidarity for one another and we can unite, we can make a difference. And
You
so
can
that'll be
make a
the
difference.
final question I have for you, Mariah. I mean,
Nene.
Nene,
We
I
can make a difference. We can make a difference.
Mariah too, and I think people need to know that how hard you go to battle for other sisters. That is really outstanding. I don't think people see that part of you, so it's good. But my final question is, how can black women unite behind one another to all come up together and tell Bravo that you got to treat, if you treat one of us bad, you're treating all of us bad, and we want to have equal opportunities.
I think one of the things you can do for now is we have said, I said it when we first started this, is that we're not asking you to boycott Bravo forever. We're asking that you help us to um, get them to the table. We need them to sit at the table and talk with us, and let's come to some sort of agreement. We want them to come to some sort of agreement with us to work with us through all of this. And then we're happy to all come back on some sort of platform and say, hey, you guys, we have worked it out with them, and we want to praise Bravo and NBC or whoever for coming to the table with us and having a conversation with us, and we've worked through our issues with them, and we want to move forward. Turn your TVs back on, and let's do this. We don't want to fight with them. We want to work something out and move forward. Again, I'm surprised that I'm in this situation. I want to say
Nene, people want to know how do they get the petition. Can you tell them that?
it is in my IG. I don't know that much about this thing, but it's in my IG. You know what I'm saying? It says swipe up, and then it's there, and I think it's on my Twitter. Yeah,
Okay.
and
Yep.
and I'll put it. I'll find it. I'll put it somewhere in a minute, but it's on my IG. Okay.
And,
Now,
and then I know you. passion about helping young Black people get into the genre, into the industry, about producing their ideas, kind of like Mariah and you
Yeah,
did.
yeah. Mariah and I both have been a little bit quiet as of late. There it is, right there. I think you see it going up. Michelle, she's got it going up. If I could put my hand on Michelle, if you could do it one more time, put it back in these comments again. A couple of you guys, if you see the petition, if you put it in the comments. Um, Mariah and myself and a few other people that have been dealing with this, we've been trying to be a little quiet because then it is difficult. It's hard to get people to understand. It's hard to get people to support. It's been better for me to just lay low and be quiet and kind of try to work it out silently, behind the scenes. I don't want this to be a bashing thing. I want to say this though. Can I say this to you? Um, because I don't want people to feel like I'm bashing, and also don't want people to feel like, oh, just because she's not on the show, she's bashing her. No, 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 no. That's not the case. This has opened up many doors of opportunity for me. So I want you to know that also. Um, there are things behind the scene that has not been done properly, and they do need to be corrected. And the only way to correct them is for all of us to sit down together and work through the issues. And there's nothing wrong with that. You understand? And so, unfortunately, we had to come here in order to try and get them to hear us so that we can sit down at the table together. So, I'm hoping that coming here and with the help of you fans, um, that we can get them to sit down at the table and work something out. And then we can come back on here again and say, hey, you guys, we all sat together and we worked it out. So let's get these TVs going and let's get these shows, up and get the ratings going and that kind of thing. But um,
Mariah,
I want to ask you something.
if,
Say it
if
again.
anybody if anybody can do it, Nene, it's you and
I know.
Mariah. I mean, you all have been trailblazers. I
Yes.
mean, in the truest sense, I've learned so much about what you all did to
Yes.
make this reality TV
Yes.
become big,
Yes.
and not just Black homes, but in
Yes.
homes all across America. And then, secondly, I think it's so appropriate that you know that you standing up gives others the courage to stand up. There may be other reality personalities who may have suffered some disparate treatment. Reach out and you will tell them how you all can stand in solidarity. And that's what it's really about. And I will say this, Nene,
I got to say
if
something to you
anybody,
too before you go, but go on.
you're not alone. My mentor, Reverend Al Sharpton. I mean, so many people have reached out and said, "Nah, we all have had similar experiences." So tell Nene she's not by herself in taking on the machine that chew you, spit you out. So we standing with you, Black Queen. We're standing with you.
Thank you. I have to say this to you, and I want to applaud you for all of the work that you're doing against all the police brutality. You're doing an amazing job, and I'm proud of you.
We're struggling together. God bless you. It's all of us, as Dr. King said, have a role to play in the struggle for the equal opportunity for all of our children. And so this is not just about you. This is about the future. That's really what this is about.
Yes, it
And
is.
so tune. Nene will be letting you all know about her fans and their efforts to have Bravo be more sensitive to the plight of Black women, as well as respecting the Black consumers who watch their television programs. And so this is about all of us showing that we won't be victims. We will stand up together and say we want better because we demand better, and we will get better. So thank you, Nene Leakes. Thank you, Mariah. Thank everybody for trying to use their voice.
Thank you, Ben. See you guys. We talk soon. Okay? Take care. Bye. Oh, let's see, where's the thing at? Hey, thank you guys. Thank you for tuning in. I'm never really lost for words. I think I was lost for words uh, several times. uh, it was uh, a lot, a lot for me. um, um, I don't know. I just know it was a lot. um, I think it's a lot for me because uh, I don't think I never thought I'd be never thought I'd be in situation like that. So I was not I didn't know what questions to answer, and so I got confused. So I just I don't know. And I don't do Instagram live. I haven't done an Instagram live in so long. Um, I don't know. I did my own hair and makeup. I was confused. I was confused. I was so confused today. I don't know. Um, it's a lot. I think people never know what you go through, huh? I don't think I don't think people know. They don't know. They don't know. I have not been drinking. And hey, what's that? Hey, what's the noise? Hey, the noise, the noise. I this Greg up here with his delayed noise coming into my noise. So anyway, I want to say thank you guys for tuning in and being here. I appreciate you. I tell you, this is probably one of the most stressful things. 99 people texting my phone, Greg walking upstairs with his phone on, telling me what to do, what not to do. I can't even take myself right now. I almost need to just fly to the damn moon. I'm just, I call myself not having any drinks lately because I just want to fast and be clear. But I feel like I might need to go up the street and have me a drink. I've been trying to have me a tea instead. I don't know what to do with myself.